Welcome to my digital learning and leading self-assessment and reflection. I first want to reflect on my personal life in regards to my past, present, and future digital learning and leading skills. As I think back to my first laptop I bought myself near the end of high school, approximately 2008-2009, I have gone from a laptop from the year 2008 to a 3-screen computer my husband built to also utilizing this current MacBook Air for work. Additionally, I started with a Kindle Fire and went to a Samsung tablet and currently also use an iPad mini for work. I'm completing this presentation using my iPad and the app Explain Everything. I went from an LG small, basic, and simple, original quote-unquote smartphone and had one in between until my current Nexus 5 smartphone. I went from a Nintendo 64 growing up to a Wii and a Wii U. My cameras and other technologies have also changed and updated as well. I use things such as a Chromecast and movie streaming services instead of DVDs. I feel as though I have evolved with the changing technology, although I do agree it is quite an investment to update and replace technology with the latest and greatest. I still am learning new features on my latest devices. One challenge I am experiencing is going between operating systems of iOS and Android. My home preferences for everyday use are Android, while I've been provided Apple iOS products for work that I use at home for work things as well as at work and in my teaching. Now I will reflect on my work and professional part of my life in regards to my past, present, and future digital learning and leading skills. My first year teaching, I used a regular whiteboard and shared about 6 classroom computers for my whole class. I used individual whiteboards for student responses and projected my computer screen onto the board. My second year of teaching, which was last year, I had and used a smartboard to add interactive links, use interactive websites, and hands-on learning activities. I also had access to reserve and use a classroom set of laptops, so all students could have access to and use the same tools at the same time. Toward the end of this past school year, my school was awarded a grant for one-to-one devices for students. All students received an iPad to use, and teachers also received an iPad mini and a MacBook to use. I went from copying paper assignments and assessments to assigning them digitally through eBackpack. Students are now able to complete assignments in a variety of formats with a variety of resources and apps available to them. There are many apps that we use for student responses instead of using individual whiteboards. I am also able to have students share their work by having them connect to the Apple TV we were provided, so the class can see their screen on the smartboard and see their work, which allows students to be able to explain and interact with their work and other students' work. Since Apple and iOS products are going to be a big part in my teaching and career at this time, I use and prefer Android is what I've used throughout several years. So this has been a bit of a learning curve as I've had to really learn about the iOS operating system and how to use these different Apple devices such as the iPad mini and the MacBook. Since receiving the MacBook, I had never used one before and kind of played around on how-tos and different tutorials to learn how to do different shortcuts and what functions and features it had. As I go from day to day doing different curricular assignments and lesson planning, I'm still learning new things that can be done on really all of my latest devices and in particularly my Apple devices. Since I have little experience in the classroom and in education, my previous work and accomplishments may seem somewhat basic and simple. My first year, I didn't have or use very much technology, and throughout my second year, I increased the amount of technology I used and tried to vary the digital literacy skills that were needed. Having one-to-one devices is going to be a great way to really explore and develop lesson plans and educational experiences to meet the demands and expectations of what 21st century learning is all about. I started out creating simple PowerPoints to now creating audio and visual presentations through Explain Everything or Nearpod. Having one-to-one devices is going to challenge me to become a digital learner and leader. Some implications for future leadership in education will be learning and knowing about best practices using digital literacy skills and also implementing such practices. Other implications may be some trial and error. I'm expecting to have some great things that I can share with others and also some things that don't work out like I envision. Additionally, I will need to put myself out there so I can be an example and a resource for my colleagues as I enhance my own digital literacy skills and knowledge about current and future technologies. I am very excited to increase my digital learning skills and to increase and improve my leadership skills. This next school year is going to be the perfect challenge for me to show that I can be a digital learner and leader.